Hey, what's up, Doomers? It's time to relinquish all your material possessions and surrender to despair. World, the podcast. That's this podcast. It's the only podcast with a shelf life of 25 years, and we can promise you that you cannot even taste the sawdust at all. Welcome back to Super Despair World. Hope you guys are feeling like shit today, because I sure am. I'm sick as a dog. Just some like seasonal bullshit. Winter needs to end. I'm tired of it. And I'm just feeling really sick. But you know what's even more sick? The state of the world. Let's talk about that. Dave, why don't you unpack what we're going over today?
Yeah, so first of all, I totally agree with you on that. I think winter should be abolished. Abolish the winter. That's a platform I stand behind.
I think, as a Canadian, I think we just need to take the entire country and move it like 100 miles south. Like, how about that?
Yeah, maybe swap positions, and then yeah.
How about I just get California? Okay, we can kick out the tech bros and just let me live there instead and run my shitty little podcast.
I'm fine with that as long as I can hop in on the party there.
If you guys support the show, we will buy the Hollywood sign and make it say something naughty.
Yeah. Yeah, we're starting the secession movement, but it's not the one that you may have seen before. Stay tuned for that. Stay tuned.
Super Despair Nation.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. If you feel kind of like out of control in life, you think the world is kind of fucked up, just everything seems like it's coming to some sort of end. You think the end times are near in some sort of way. You're not alone. And for the low price of $699.99 a month, you can subscribe to our program, which is going to ensure that when the end times come, which are they're coming, baby. Let me tell you, you will be safe, and yeah.
You will survive with the help of our Super Despair World buckets of wet slop.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And we're starting a commune. We have all sorts of stuff in store.
I will personally shit in the buckets for you.
Yeah, join our Patreon, and you will get shit buckets direct from Briar.
I don't think we actually have a Patreon up yet, but we'll probably do that soon.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Really, I could go for some money.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe in the future somebody will listen to this, and we will have a Patreon at that point. So
I'm sure we will, because I like to pay for things. I like to receive material goods and services. Speaking of services, today we're talking about the services provided to doomers. We're talking about people who doom out, who see the writing on the wall and they just think the world is going to shit, and how they're gonna deal with that, and also the weird products people try to sell them. I really wanted to tackle this one right now, just one, because there's some very funny shit we went over in our research for this one, and two, because in our previous episode, we talked a lot about how, like, okay, the whole of the internet and, a lot of our economy, like, all of this stuff seems like kind of unsustainable, like, where's all this going? Things just keep getting worse. What do we do about that? Like, we gotta make our own spaces and shit. I think it's perfectly fine if you see all this stuff and you recognize, like, wow, damn, that's pretty bad. The world looks pretty sick. Maybe demons and devils and shit are just in charge of our lives all the time. And, that's fine. That's a perfectly good and reasonable assessment of what's going on. But, some people, they take it too far. They let it consume them. And I think we want to unpack that. So we're going to start off talking about doomers.
Doomers, yeah. There's the I think this is a 4chan term, the lay down and rot thing. Just anytime somebody sees something that they think is just something that they really don't like, that they don't agree with, they think this is indicative of just like the complete collapse of society. They're just like, oh, Lay down and rot. There's nothing you can do. Fuck it. Just we'll continue posting strange erotic photos on 4chan and just fuck it, right?
When I first heard the term lie down and rot, I think it was in the context of the whole incel thing, which again that also ties back into 4chan with the whole like Robot 9000 or whatever they call it, that particular board. So it wouldn't surprise me if it reaches out into a broader space of doomers in general, but it's kind of the same mindset. Like we could talk a lot about incels, and I'm sure we will in a future episode, but the whole lie down and rot thing, it's like I think it came about when they realized like, oh, okay, I'm never gonna find a romantic or sexual partner or whatever. This is all life has, so I'm just gonna lie down and give up and stop trying to improve things myself. And there's one thing when you look at it in the context of like incel culture or whatever, but I think you can easily apply this more broadly to people who just like look at the state of the world. Maybe they're like really concerned about climate change, and like don't get me wrong, we believe climate change is very much a real dangerous thing coming up. That shit's terrifying.
Speak for yourself.
But like,
just kidding. Yeah, it is bad.
It's not good, certainly. But some people they see it and they think like, well, okay, I guess the world's just gonna be like the fucking planet Mars in 20 years or some shit. May as well just like give up on all my hopes and dreams, and that's not the way to go.
Yeah, it's kind of the doomer self-defeatist mindset on all of this stuff. It really comes down to just being incredibly lazy, and I'm not saying like you see like a video of some like trash dump in Malaysia, and well, I don't even know if it's in Malaysia, but like they're all over the world.
We love our Malaysian listeners, okay?
Yes, I'm not saying
except
Malaysia's
you,
a
Ian.
trash dump.
Fuck off.
Yes, actually, that's a good point. So we can change things in the sense of just get Ian Miles Chong to go to every trash dump in Malaysia and everywhere around the world and single-handedly consume all of that trash. He will be like Wall-E, except he's eating the garbage and shitting it out into nice little compact cubes that we can send out into space.
I think this is a concept in Buddhism. They call them like sin eaters or something, where people transpose like bad vibes into food and then people eat the food or something like that.
Yeah.
Don't correct me, any Buddhist listeners. I want to believe.
Yeah. I think that is a thing where they say like if there's also a thing where like they say if like somebody is preparing your food and they have like bad vibes, like the food will have bad vibes and you'll have bad vibes. That's why I don't eat at Chipotle, because
but then
at
the same time I don't know about that, because I feel like every time I go out and I really want to get some like Chinese takeout or something, it's only ever good if like the staff there are rude to me. If they're a little too polite, I'm like, okay, this shit's gentrified. That's the bad vibe in my book.
Yeah, well, it's because that's how they have internal good vibes, is by projecting all of their bad vibes outwards towards the
onto the customer, where it belongs.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
you know what? All right, we've solved that riddle.
Moving on.
Moving on, yeah, we were saying something about doomers, and like, okay, we can recognize a lot of the things that people doom out about. They are valid, they're real problems. That's why we're getting this out of the way before we get on to the ridiculous stuff of this episode. Even if I think some people like take it too far and they have like an unhealthy response to this stuff. Yeah, a lot of stuff in the world like fucking sucks right now. Like I think that's one of the reasons this show exists. We like to have a good time and make jokes and be kind of silly here, but like, I don't know, I've listened to a lot of people on the internet who like try to do some kind of like entertaining show or whatever, and it just feels like a little out of touch if they just never acknowledge that, hey, shit kind of sucks right now. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, in that's part of the thing is, and I think that's why like things like The Daily Show or the whatever the thing with John Oliver, which I find him completely insufferable. But I think the core content,
last week tonight.
Yeah. I find him incredibly unfunny and insufferable. But I think
he's unfunny. Unfunny, you think? You think he's unfunny when he says the joke three times in increasingly exasperated ways.
Come on, Briar. Come on, Briar. Yeah, that's really the main thing about him that fucking bothers me. But it
bothers me more
good.
because his show is like one of the only like well-researched journalism things on all of TV now.
And it's just like, can you get somebody more charismatic and less British to do this show, please?
Emphasis on the less British.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're saying it's.
Do you think John Oliver is basically like the Ian Miles Chong of like America? Like, he's not from here, but he talks about America constantly.
Yeah, he's upset. He's an America boo.
Yeah, maybe these are the two opposite sides of the same spectrum.
Exactly. Horseshoe theory is true, folks. We figured it out. It's all over now. And
maybe put less stock in what people not from America have to say about America.
True.
Except for me, I'm an honorary American.
Well, North America is one large colony.
Canada is basically like the 51st state anyway.
Yes, exactly, just with better rights for now, at least. But the reason
in some of it.
But the reason I brought that up is because I think that is why people like those shows, is they like to get information, but when you watch like the news or whatever, it's just like, fuck, I'm gonna kill myself. But like it's better when there's kind of a filter of somebody that that you kind of agree with, that's just like, yeah, this is fucking crazy, like this is stupid. It makes you feel a little bit better that like at least there's one sane person in my corner, other than instead of some news agency that's pretending to be completely neutral, just like reporting the facts, and then you're left to your own devices to just like sit there and cry about how fucked up everything is.
Yeah, I think what we need is a show that has like all the like good, well done research and journalism of like John Oliver's show, but maybe replace them with like one of those like really like attractive, like curvaceous, like Brazilian news anchors. I think that's the right way to go.
Yes. I'm fully on board with that. I am a fan, I will say, of the Sam Cedar show. And I also think Emma Vigeland is incredibly hot. Someday.
I was shocked to learn she's only like 30 or something like that. She's like practically my age, which is nuts to me.
Yeah, she's so great. And Sam Cedar, also a very good looking dude, very cool. I like that show. It's a little
my
bit.
My man Sam has aged like fine wine. I'll say that.
That is my twink death goal. Which maybe I'm already there. Maybe I'm just coping, but I see him as like a blueprint for how a guy like me should age, and I'm feeling pretty good about my impending 40s.
Yeah, remember to donate and invest in the show if you want to make sure Dave still looks good in like 3 years' time.
Yeah, true. I'm gonna need a lot of treatments.
There's I think when you start getting into podcasting, there's a lot of potential futures, and let's not kid ourselves. Most of them they're straight into the abyss. It's a dark, lonely place, but it doesn't have to be. It's either Joe Rogan or fuck, I actually can't think of any good podcasts other than this one. So yeah. I don't know. We'll be trailblazing some new ground.
Yeah, you heard it here first, folks. The only good podcast on
as
podcasts.
We remind you every episode.
Yes.
Fuck. Yeah. We gotta let's say something clever, something incisive about doomers, because I feel like, okay, people who recognize real problems in the world, that basically sums up our fan base, right? Like, people who listen to this show are kind of smart. But I think, like I said before, some people definitely take it too far. They maybe spend too much time obsessing over like problems that very much are real, but like, I don't know, you kind of have to accept that there are some things that are just like out of your control as a normal person. Like I said, climate change is really fucking bad, but and I'm not saying you should never do anything. If you are involved in like activism or something, if you like go to your like local town hall meetings or some shit, you don't need instructions on how to do that from some dipshit podcast like us. But if you do that, that's great and wonderful. But at the same time, that problem is so big that most of it is out of the hands of like individual fucking people. And I like to think that, I don't know, maybe nowadays, and I'm about to give like a phone bad kind of take, but you know, sometimes phones are bad. So sometimes I think with like mass communications and shit, I think maybe it's possible to be too aware of what's going on in the world. Sometimes you know too much, and it's just more information than you're actually capable of like processing as a like advanced monkey on these machines that connect us all. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think this may be kind of a recurring theme in the topic of this episode, but I think humans also are really drawn to this, like, these ideas of like the end times. As far as I know, there have been a lot of predictions and things related to like the end of days since the early era of recorded history with all of humanity, and that's kind of the thing that I think we might keep coming back to is people are like, oh, this is it, this is the end, everything's fucked, nothing can ever get better. And I mean, we've been around for like 8,000 years now with like regular, I mean not regular, but like civilization in general, recorded history at least. And we're still going. I mean, shit kind of sucks in a lot of ways. Shit is kind of cool in a lot of ways. And I think that's kind of the running theme with all of this shit is shit has sucked in certain ways throughout history, and shit has not sucked in certain ways throughout history. So, but I think there's a propensity with a lot of people to either focus on the shitty shit. And like you said, I think this becomes very amplified with if you're just only looking at things that are talking about really terrible things, really terrible shit. And then there are people who are just
if
like,
you ever if you ever click on any of the trending topics on Twitter, stop. It's never anything good. You don't need to know. Just don't.
Yeah.
Just stop using it.
Yeah, just don't go on Twitter at all. That's probably the first thing that you should really do. If there's something worth knowing, you'll learn from somebody else who's actively rotting their brain to deliver this news to you. And if not,
like
then,
us.
yeah, like us. If it's worth knowing, we'll tell you. If it's not, we won't.
Exactly. And before we move on, I also want to say that there's one very important thing about doomers, which I think this is a mentality I see in a lot of people. I see it in like conspiracy theorists as well, where it's like, okay, you acknowledge that all these bad things are going on, but at the same time there's a weird level of like comfort and feeling of safety in that, where like, oh, okay, I just accept that everything's bad, so I guess I don't need to do anything. I don't need to improve my own life. It's like it's basically a quitter's mindset. You are basically like giving up on the world. And I think, okay, you know what? Let's say hypothetically that the end times really are upon us and all this shit is gonna be gone in like 5 years from now. I don't know. How about go out with some fucking dignity? You know what? How about make the most of things? How about try to like achieve your dreams and make the best out of the the rotten hand we've been given. I don't know. I think at least even if things do fall apart, and there's a fair chance they might. Who knows? Maybe we really are the first generation where like shit is actually gonna all come crashing down. You know what? Go out with some dignity. Make the best of it. You're gonna feel better in the 5 years you have left than if you don't.
Exactly, and there's two things that I could bring that back to. First, you mentioned incels before, and you could make an analogy there with the whole incel thing, and it's kind of the same mindset of just like. And I think that is part of the reason a lot of people get wrapped up in that shit, because it's like I'm a sub 5 beta male and I'm 5'7", and Stacy won't fuck me because whatever.
It's all over for the ham sandwich race.
Exactly, and
play Disco Elysium. It's really good. Don't pay for it though. Pirate that shit.
But But it's like so there are options if you really think any of this shit is true. It's like, hey, maybe like try to control the things you can change, and work on some self-improvement and shit. And it's like there is a modicum of good that can come out of that. A lot of it's fucking bad. It's really framed very poorly, but we don't need to get into that. But I think the appeal with a lot of people with that shit is that they're just like, oh, well, fucking hypergamy and, society and Stacy and whatever. Well, okay, well, I don't have to do shit then. Lay down and rot. I'll just play League of Legends and piss in fucking jars until I die. Like that's all I have to do. And then
I can't believe Stacy like Chad's Wojak more than mine.
Exactly. Yeah, life is fucking hard, but. The other thing that reminded me of, I used to work with this guy, and he no longer worked with us. I don't want to get into too many details, but anyways,
rip.
I ended up seeing him a while later with some other friends that we used to work with, and I was like, hey man, it's been a while. Like, what are you doing? What do you got going on? And he was like, and this was like quite a while ago. And he was like, yeah, just hang on, just killing time till 2012, This was obviously
this is pre-2012.
Yeah, this is pre-2012, and I was just like, oh shit, like yeah, okay, understandable, that's cool, but like, so I guess his whole mindset was just like, I don't have to do shit because 2012 is coming, and when that happens, like. Anything I do now will just be negated anyway, so I might as well like play Counter-Strike and just fucking smoke weed or whatever he was doing at the time.
Yeah, and they don't actually believe any of that stuff, because if they were really convinced that like nothing's gonna matter and they can't like suffer any real consequences, they wouldn't be sitting there playing Counter-Strike. They would be having a good laugh with some politicians, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah,
something like that.
Having a good time with I don't know, whoever's around.
Telling some
Obama.
Funny jokes.
Yeah,
just jokes, just satire, folks. Just having a laugh on our show.
Having a laugh with Barack Obama.
Yeah. You were saying though about your friend.
That was it. That was.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
that's all I have to say. But like, I'm a
little fucked up. I'm sick as a dog. I'm not all here today. I got my head in the clouds, and the clouds are full of coughs.
Oh no, understandable. But that is the thing. There's no end to that story. 2012 rolled along, and I think I have seen him since, or I've heard about him since, and he's just like I think he's like selling insurance or something. So it's really like it kind of does outline that type of mindset of just like, yeah, it's a really good excuse to just do nothing and just like be a grumpy dickhead, and then yeah, I mean, no responsibility, right?
Yeah, it really sucks, and people should not do that. But something else that sucks is if you accept this mindset into your heart, people are gonna want to sell you a bunch of shit. They want to prepare you for the
Oh
apocalypse,
yeah.
which brings us to the bulk of our episode, which is moving things away from reasonable people who maybe went down a dark road, maybe just made some misjudgments, whatever. We wanna rip into some people who deserve the ridicule. Some people who have a lot of their own ideas about the apocalypse and what it entails. Dave, what do you think about the Cybertruck? You hear about this Cybertruck business?
Yeah, I heard it's a massive piece of shit that's already just rusting into oblivion. And man, who could have seen that coming? Like what?
Yeah, so everything I've learned about the Cybertruck has been against my will. But if you're one of like the 6 people who doesn't already know, the Cybertruck is one of the newest products from a friend of the show, Elon Musk. Just kidding, not really. But yeah, it's this thing. He wants to roll it out. I believe it's produced by the same company as Tesla. That's like his big car company or whatever.
Yes.
And the Cybertruck is the most shitty, ugly looking vehicle you've ever seen anywhere. Period. It looks like it's half rendered. It looks like when you're walking into a new area in Skyrim and all the textures haven't like quite popped in yet. It looks kind of like that, except it's real. And this thing is a piece of shit. But it's not just a piece of shit because he doesn't know how to produce cars. It's a piece of shit because it's marketed in a very peculiar way, where it's both trying to be this like luxury high-end vehicle for like Silicon Valley like tech sort of guys, and it's also trying to market itself as the vehicle of the apocalypse. It's fucking like 2 or 3 tons, probably more. I don't have the numbers in front of me. It's supposedly bulletproof, but those claims seem very questionable. It's meant to protect you and your family, but then there was the whole like baseball incident where they like really cracked the shit out of that windshield.
Oh yeah.
It can't go up hills. It consumes a lot of energy. It's just a shitty vehicle all around. But it's marketed to protect you in the end times when society collapses. And there's like an entire fucking cottage industry of things like this.
Yeah, the Cybertruck is especially funny for all of the reasons you mentioned, but the one that is particularly funny to me is yeah, I saw a video that this this vehicle, which as you said is partially marketed to people who are like, in the end times I'll use my solar panels to charge up my epic vehicle, which by that time, whenever the end times are, if they ever will be, which I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, the batteries will probably be bulging and leaking out before you can use it to its fullest capability. But I also saw a video that was like the Cybertruck like couldn't make it up like a 20-degree incline. It's like, yeah, man, that's gonna help you out in the end days when you really need, you know, a utility vehicle to escape from I don't know, the ghouls,
Democrats.
Yeah, when all the Democrats are trying to get into your stores of barley or whatever the fuck you have in your McMansion. Yeah, that's gonna get you away from them. Is this car that can like barely roll down the street without just fucking imploding.
Yeah, and like I said, the Cybertruck is not the first vehicle of its kind. I was showing you this just before we started recording, Dave. I hate to mention this company by name, but it's a stupid name, so I'm gonna bring it up for laughs. There's this vehicle manufacturer. It's called Apocalypse 6x6, and they produce these really dumb-looking trucks that have like 2 wheels in the front and like 4 wheels in the back, and they kind of look like you ever go shopping for like computer accessories and you see the shit marketed towards gamers?
Oh my god,
of, like, hard edges,
yes,
and lights and shit. It's like the truck
the
version of that.
Tackiest shit ever. And I'll rant on both these. Just like Holy fucking shit, man. Stop with it. It's like there's a certain demographic of people who have not evolved their aesthetic tastes since like 1993, and they're just like, yo, it's red and black and like angular, and there's a dragon on it, and there's lights.
It looks like the Batmobile, but shitty.
It's like shit that I would have thought was cool when I was 12. And I mean, I was 12 in the late 90s, but
it's like a vaguely like militaristic but also like cyberpunk kind of deal. It's like all dark edges and sharp corners and stuff. It's like, I think this is what the term tactical refers to.
Yes, yeah. And I'm having a hard, like, I looked at these. I don't know if actually I said before when we were talking before the episode, like, I thought they were just like not street legal ATVs.
It wouldn't surprise me if they're not street legal, but I don't know.
I don't know if they're street legal. Now that I look at them, I think they just took like shitty cars for chuds, like fucking Hummer H2s and like Jeep Grand Wagoneers or whatever, the shitty Jeep with like the flatbed in it, and like an H. Yeah, this actually says H2 on it. I think they just take them and they just like trick them out and just tack on like $200,000 to the price.
Yeah, I'm sure this is like some weird like third party manufacturer where they just get a bunch of stuff that's already kind of made and just like do little shitty customizations or whatever for it.
Yeah, they're
like,
probably all police auction, like repossessed like drug dealer vehicles.
I don't know. I feel like drug dealers would have better taste than this.
Well, no, they had the base model and then they tricked them out.
Okay, I see what you mean
with this epic shit.
Yeah, I'm looking at the front page of their site now, and they list all the different truck models they have here, and they have the dumbest names. I'm looking at them in order. They have the Hellfire, Nirvana, Juggernaut, Strike Force, Dark Horse, Warlord, Super Truck. Which, come on, you can do better than Super Truck.
Yeah, Cybertruck,
Sinister Six.
Yeah.
All this stuff is like...
This is my wife left me, and now but it's okay, because she wouldn't let me have this before, so I'm...
This person's wife left him so hard that it's like she was never even there to begin with.
Absolutely.
The thing is, okay, all these things are marketed as like, okay, this will keep you safe in like apocalyptic conditions when society has collapsed. But honestly, the only place I can actually imagine seeing these are like right when society is about to collapse. Like, this is some like January 6th shit right here.
Oh, 100%.
Like, this is something that some fat ass like white upper middle crust like small business owner drives to the Capitol with like some stupid flags and like a million like mental illness political stickers on the back, and like that's where you're gonna see this sort of thing. And also it's gonna get like immediately stopped in the road by the first line of like police like tire spikes or whatever you call them.
Without question. And then they'll just be like, oh, I'm a sovereign citizen, I have the right to pass here, and they'll just be like, no, you don't.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird thing because, okay, you say sovereign citizen, but I feel like that's more on the like mental illness side of like the chud sphere. I feel like those people don't really have as much money. I feel like this is more like a very true. Like bog standard like off the shelf fascist kind of deal right here. Yeah. But I don't know.
Yeah, no, there's probably some sort of spectrum with that. You could be right. I don't know. We need to do more research into this demographic.
Yeah, we need to. We're still working on mapping the whole like taxonomy of chuds. It's ever changing. It's kind of like the evolutionary tree, and we're like Darwin categorizing all the weird birds on this stupid little island.
It's very difficult. It's very subjective. I mean, I got a whiteboard out here that there's so many circles and lines and question marks. It's truly it's very difficult. I mean, I'm gonna need more research funds for this. So
please fund our investigations.
Please smash that like button and subscribe button so that
please help us fight the deep state and the shallow state as well.
Whatever
that is.
Absolutely. The shallow state is is people or the libtards trying to take your Sinister Six away from you. That's probably the lamest one. I don't know. If you had to buy one of these, what would you get? I'd probably get the Juggernaut because it's the most expensive one, and then I could sell it to...
Oh, that's a good question.
I could sell it to the dumbest person I've ever seen before.
I'm looking at the pictures here, and I think I'm kind of leaning towards the Hellfire. I just feel like the angles on it are most likely to like kill a small child that gets in front of me on the road.
That's true. Does Hellfire and the Juggernaut look similar? It's just that Juggernaut doesn't have doors, but I kind of like a little breeze when I'm driving, you know?
Plus, I feel like this kind of thing has to have like some kind of like overpriced like flamethrower accessory.
Oh yeah.
So like pair that with the Hellfire. Like I think I could make it work.
Yeah, these don't even come with a rear-mounted 50 caliber machine gun, which is fucked up. And the last thing I'll say about this, the last thing I'll say about this company is their logo is definitely like graphic design is my passion styled, but it's a fucking mushroom cloud, which is so cool, dude. It's so fucking cool.
Yeah,
these people are perpetually mentally 14. It's awesome.
The funny thing is, since you mentioned the machine gun, is I think about like real trucks that are just like cheap consumer trucks that go out and see war, like in the Middle East and shit.
Oh yeah,
and they'll just take like regular fucking Toyota.
Yeah, it's just like a Toyota truck with like a fucking gun in the back, and like that's what I would be very afraid of that person. In the Mad Max future, but if I saw somebody driving one of these, I'd be like, this dude cannot go 14 hours without like a hamburger, so they're we'll just like wait them out, and then just
it sucks to say this because like, okay, I'm not gonna shame anybody who might be listening who's overweight, but I'm not really that worried about an American Civil War because I think Americans are just like too fat and out of shape and like comfortable with modernity to really like meaningfully like go to war within their own borders for a bit. I just don't really see it happening. I see all these videos of like the weird like sweater and khaki pants like fascist guys who are like training for a civil war or something. And like these are the most like out of shape motherfuckers you've ever seen.
No,
like,
without question.
These guys get stopped by a fucking turnstile in like a subway at a city that they haven't been to before, and it's like, okay, I guess I should be a little worried about these guys, but I'm not that worried. I know. No, just like I'm not that worried about these trucks.
Yeah, for sure. And if you look at like a picture of like a White Lives Matter rally or something like that, it's either the most like incredibly obese people you've ever seen, or dudes who are like 67 pounds and like 5'11", and it's just like, okay, yeah, I'm not
it's all either fucking Dale Gribble or like Officer Wiggum. There's no in between.
100%, yeah. It's
the one last thing I'll say about these trucks is there's an analogy we used in a previous episode for something else, but it was a little while ago when we were talking about a bunch of like manosphere bullshit, and we were talking about this character, the Liver King, and I was reading a tweet. Somebody said something like, this guy's whole like aesthetic, his whole like personal image is about like returning to some primitive like before time, but this level of excess could only be fed by modernity, which he is not a fan of. And I think that's the same about these trucks, right? Where it's like, oh, this is supposed to last you in the fucking apocalypse when society collapses or whatever. But like, no, these trucks are gonna go to shit the second there isn't like a gas station left to service their high fucking gas guzzling demands, and like an In-N-Out burger to fill the 8 different cups right next to the driver's seat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're running out of energy because of the big gulp is no longer available.
That's my favorite thing when I see videos of these trucks and they're like showing off the interior, and it's like, yeah, here's the custom built slot to fit your like family-sized KFC bucket or whatever.
Hell yeah, I gotta eat on the road. I'm a hungry boy and I got a hungry family.
Gotta get my calories in. The liberals want to take away my KFC.
We got a busy day ahead of us. Eating in the car is fucking degenerate. I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna say it right now. I'm sorry to anybody who eats in your car. Stop doing it. Wait till you get home.
I've tried to do it a few times. Like maybe I'll be sitting in the passenger seat and we just picked up McDonald's or something. I'm like, ooh, I kind of want like a French fry or two. But it's like, no, it's inconvenient and makes a mess. And also, like if you've ever like hopped into somebody's car and there's a bunch of like discarded like food wrappers and shit, like clean your shit up.
It's so fucked up, dude.
Your house, your car is like your fucking house, right? Like take care of that space. I don't know. It's just, I don't want somebody to walk into my fucking laundry room before I'm about to clean a load, you know? It just feels weird. Like, clean up your fucking car.
Yeah, I don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable. Like, I have like 4 things in the trunk of my car, and I'm just like, I gotta get these out of here. I don't like it. So it's stressing me out.
Yeah, it's total bullshit. But you know, this is actually a great segue because we're talking about the eating in your car and all these trucks, the fucking Sinister Six or whatever. By the way, if any of these trucks even look remotely appealing to you, how about you send us a Sinister $6 instead?
Yeah.
But first, I want to say, okay, if you drive one of these things and you're just like hitting up a KFC or whatever and you're getting your bucket of slop, I've got another product that might interest you. Some slop to last you through the end times.
Oh yeah. Let's go.
This is a dark rabbit hole. I actually showed this to you, Dave, for the first time recently. There's a character. I don't know if he's still going at it, but he was at this like a couple years ago. This fella named Jim Baker. I don't know what it's spelled like.
It's Bakker, which is what's that
I feel
about?
like he must have changed his name at some point. That doesn't sound like a real person.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's up with that.
It's so Jim Bakker. Let's just go with Bakker because we gotta back that shit up. So Jim Bakker, he's this like televangelist, like infomercial guy. As far as I know, he has the title of pastor, but I don't know if there's like an actual truth behind that. But he's one of these like religious guys that goes on TV at like 3 a.m. to sell weird little products to your like brainworm addled relatives and family members. And one of the things that Jim Bakker has been kind of known for is these buckets of like non-perishable food that'll supposedly last you through the upcoming apocalypse, the rapture or some shit. I don't actually know the specific details of his religious beliefs, but he talks often about how we're living in the end times and you're gonna need these like 10-gallon buckets full of like food to last you like 25 years or something. And if you've never heard of Jim Bakker before, I implore you, pause the podcast now if you have the means and just look him up on YouTube, just because you have to see this insanity for yourself.
He is awesome. I love him so much. He is completely insane. He looks exactly well we haven't really talked about him that much, but
I don't know, maybe this is a stretch. He kind of looks like old Matt Walsh. He has the same kind of like scruffy beard that's like too close to his face.
The glasses. He looks like old Matt Walsh or young Colonel Sanders. Even though the dude, I'm pretty sure he's
don't do the Colonel dirty like that.
All right, he's dark universe Colonel Sanders. You're right. I can't. Yeah, I respect.
Actually, I don't know what side of the war Colonel Sanders was on. That's some American.
He was on the side of deliciousness.
That's the perfect answer. Thank you, Dave.
Yeah.
But speaking of who's not on the side of deliciousness, let's talk about the apocalypse buckets that Jim Bakker is selling and the demonstrations of some of this food. We like to joke before about how people just like eat slop straight from the bucket like pigs, but this food is like actual slop. It's basically gruel, and he goes on TV and he has to like take a big old bite of it and pretend that it's the most delicious shit you've ever seen, but it's nuts. Maybe you can describe some of the food for us.
Yeah, so the ones I saw, there was one that was like the word, like, if you've ever had Lunchables pizza before, and I'm sure like a lot of people have a little bit of nostalgia for that, and they're like,
I'm not ashamed to admit I was a big Lunchables kid when I was in like elementary school.
Yeah.
I got bullied for it, rightfully, but I still remember.
No,
those.
it's because they were jealous, man. Lunchables fucked. My parents
some
would
of them
never buy
fucked.
that. Yes, I think that is true. Some of them fucked. I think the pizza one was that was the cream of the crop. You could trade that for anything.
That was definitely one of the better ones. I've only thought about Lunchables recently because I was going down a rabbit hole, and I admit I watched some Slop videos. There was a video that good friend of the show, Moist Critical, did where he just ate a bunch of Lunchables and like rated them, and I don't know why I watched that, but that's the first time I've thought about Lunchables in like 20 years.
Yo, what's up, guys? Just eating a bunch of Lunchables. Yeah, what did he rate the top one? Is it a pizza one?
I don't remember. I know pizza was on the upper end. That was one of the better ones for sure. I actually it's hard for me to remember because a lot of the ones he rated were like these weird like natural whole grain bullshit that like we didn't have when I was a kid. Whatever.
This is fucking Biden's America. God damn it.
Yeah, this is some liberal bullshit.
Jesus
okay, let's
fucking
bring
Christ.
back the good Lunchables.
Yeah, I want Lunchables to be fucking disgusting and bad for you. That's the America. We used to be a fucking country. God damn it.
Listen, I advocate for eating well, but sometimes you want the slop. Sometimes you want some good bad food. When I lived in my hometown as recently as like 2 years ago, I would go on the meal delivery app as soon as it opened in the fucking morning, and I would hit up the fucking 7-Eleven menu, and I would just get some like warm like taquitos and like Jamaica patties, and these aren't great, but it was nice. It was fresh. It was warm. It was a little spicy, I guess. I kind of like spicy food.
Yeah.
It was decent. Sometimes you just crave the slop.
And it was ready to go. The difference is that slop is slop, and you know it's slop, but it tastes good. But like the things that I looked at, this shit didn't look good, and I can guarantee it fucking didn't taste good. I would really like to try these. I kind of like know what they're gonna taste like. The pizza looked like fucking hardtack with like some kind of sauce. The sauce is probably the best part of it, I would assume, because like how can you really?
The pizza looked like a deflated tire. Like,
yeah,
for real.
Yeah.
It looks like something you would pop on the back of a Hellfire truck.
Yeah, sauce is probably pretty easy to preserve. Like it's kind of just a liquid-ish thing.
It's hard to fuck up tomato sauce.
Well, that's a whole other debate as far as like keeping it good for a while, but
okay, I didn't realize I said something controversial about tomato sauce, but okay, go ahead.
Yeah, well, it's an Italian thing, you know. I've been to a lot of Italian restaurants, so a lot of them kind of made the sauce.
Okay,
now
I'm gonna get all the Italian listeners mad at me.
The sauce.
Okay,
Well,
we'll
you gotta get your mom's sauce. You know, you go to fucking places, not really your mom's sauce. You know what I mean? But and also if you call it gravy, go fuck yourself. See, that's
disgusting. That's degenerate. Get out of here. Okay?
Yeah. Fucking go back to fucking Jersey and keep.
You don't like tomato sauce? You can get the fuck out. Okay.
Get the fuck out of here. But and then the cheese, obviously, it looks like bricks. But I mean, to be fair, if you go to fucking Pizza Hut or something, it's the same consistency.
Okay, Pizza Hut is actually the worst of like all the big pizza chains.
I haven't been there in ages,
good.
But like, yeah, it's
when I lived in Vancouver for college, and I guess this is a Canadian thing, but Pizza Hut was one of the only like pizza places like that delivered to my particular address. And this one time they had a special deal going on for a poutine flavored pizza.
No.
And I made a big mistake because I ordered it because I was curious, and it was like instead of pizza sauce they had like actual gravy, and they put a bunch of French fries on top.
Yeah,
but
no.
they're like Pizza Hut French fries, so they're like wet and soggy and thin. It's like if you met like a swamp witch in the woods and you ripped all her hair out and you just put it on top of a pizza. It would probably taste better than what I had. I had like one bite of that shit, and I just closed the box. I walked down to the underground parking in my apartment building, and I threw that shit straight in the dumpster. Okay, that is not even fit for the dogs.
What did you expect to happen? You know that's gonna.
I don't know.
It.
Listen,
Yeah.
look. This was a dark time of my life. Okay, I try not to look back and judge my decisions too harshly.
I guess so. But that pizza,
but it's probably still better than whatever the fuck Jim Backer's selling.
Oh yeah, see that shit looked bad. And then there was because you sent me that Rhett and Link thing, and then I looked at the
they did like a taste test where they ranked
and they said that one was pretty bad. There was like a stroganoff that they said tasted like dog food. It looked really fucking bad.
Actually, I think they rated the pizza as the best one on the Jim
No,
Backer
it was
menu.
maybe it was they said the black bean burger was okay.
Oh yeah, apparently those were okay too once they added some ketchup.
Yeah.
But they apparently it was also like really hard and kind of like dense, which I guess makes sense if it's supposed to last that long.
They said the stroganoff tasted like dog food, and the pudding was also really bad. Now, there might have been another one, but wait, no, there was like it was like a creamy potato soup. And then if you watch the Jim Backer video about it, he's like, "This is the delicious bucket of soup," and then he like takes like a little tiny like bite of it, and he starts like choking and coughing, and he's like, "I didn't have."
Have you seen any of the edited Jim Backer videos put up by what's his name, like Vic Berger or something on YouTube? Have you seen any of those?
No.
Never mind. Whatever. I'll show you after we're done
Okay.
recording. But it's wild. There was a particular thing he was showing off. It was like this one bucket with nothing but like plain white rice, and then another bucket of like some kind of like cheese slop. You ever go to a store and you get that like fucking Tostitos brand like cheese dip for your like
cheese
tortilla
whiz.
chips?
Yeah.
It looked like that, but it was like a 5-gallon bucket of that stuff. And he was literally shoveling the rice from one bucket into a larger bucket with like an actual shovel, and talking about like, oh, you can use this to dig a latrine in the apocalypse or whatever. And it's just completely nuts. And then they like dumped all the cheese over the rice, and they used the shovel to like mix it together. And he was like, I think it was like some kind of like queso cheese whatever bullshit, because he was talking about like, yeah, this is rated authentic by real Mexicans.
Yeah, he's like, there's no gringos here.
Stuff.
This is how they make
like,
paella in Spain. It's the same process.
And then the camera cuts to this crowd of people at like full size like dining tables in the audience, like the weirdest venue I've ever seen. And it's like, this is the most gringo crowd of people you've ever seen outside of the Capitol, you know?
Yeah, he was like, it's rated good by Mexicans. Like, who? Like, trot them out there. I'm very curious. The other thing
he says Mexicans as if it's like a rare thing. Like he just happened to meet some experts on like cheese gruel or whatever.
He flew out a panel of Mexicans.
He's trying. You can tell the gears in his like 90-year-old like disease-addled mind are working overtime to not say a slur.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. The other thing I liked about those is he took like a shit ton of the buckets and like put like a piece of wood on the top, and he was like, you got a furniture set here for your dining room. All you have to do is get like 7 buckets, and you could put anything you want on here, and you got a dining room table. That's all you need.
even in like the apocalyptic end times, these people cannot imagine living outside of their like fucking suburban mansion in Florida.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Like, yeah.
As if those aren't like the first places that would actually get like raided for supplies in like a societal
100%.
collapse
100%.
scenario, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of his pitches, like the marketing for these things, is like, yeah, it'll last 25 years, but also it's gonna be delicious. It's gonna be worth more than gold. You can trade these to other people, and it's like, okay, if society collapsed and I run into this feeble 90-year-old man with like 100 buckets of food, I'm not gonna trade with that guy. What are you talking about? You know?
Well, it's also like if I don't know a lot about like evangelical end times lore, but like why is like post rapture gonna last 25 years? Why do you need all that?
Yeah,
like,
I don't get it either. I think it's like the Mormons or some shit that just believe, oh, okay, they're just gonna get like raptured up,
and then you just go to hang out with
it's
Mormon
all the sinners
Jesus.
who are gonna be stuck here on Earth.
Yeah, right. So,
but I don't actually know the nature of like Jim Backer's actual beliefs, and you know, it doesn't. Let's not kid ourselves. It doesn't fucking matter. It's gonna be some incoherent like brain disease bullshit anyway.
For sure.
So who cares? We're just here to rag on the guy because it's funny as fuck.
Yeah, and also a little bit of lore about the man himself. He he was sentenced to 45 years in federal prison, and he only ended up.
Before you say this, when I first told you about Jim Bakker, I was actually misinformed because I was told that he went to prison for financial fraud. And it's true that he did commit some fraud, but that's not what he went to prison for.
Yeah, so apparently, I'm seeing like conflicted sources here. He was sentenced to 45 years, and I think he only did 8. But I'm not sure if I was correct because I was looking at different things. One of the things that like he was under investigation for was like sexually assaulting somebody who worked at the church or something, and he like tried to pay her hush money, and but that might have been fraud. I don't know.
In the church from a man of God,
yeah.
A pastor nonetheless. Are you
know?
kidding me? That's insane. What is the world coming to, man?
Yeah. In his 1996 book, I Was Wrong, he admitted that the first time he actually read the Bible all the way through was in prison. Amazing.
That is another thing I've seen him talk about while he's selling the slop buckets. He says that the revelation of the end of the world came to him while he was in prison, which I'm sure isn't just something that his brain just jumped to because he's stuck in prison for like potentially the rest of his life because he's quite old. He's an old fucking guy. But yeah, it's such a mess, dude.
Well,
don't buy anything from this guy.
It's funny because it reminds me of like there is a theory which is I don't think has been substantiated necessarily, which is like the reason that like email spammers and scammers like write things wrong is because they're like they want to weed out anybody who's smart enough to know basic spelling and grammar. Yes,
that's 100%.
So like dudes like that, they could just be like, yeah, I never read the Bible, but like also like buy Jesus is coming, buy my slot bucket. And
when I'm doing my penance, research for the show and scrolling Twitter to learn interesting things about the world, and I see some ad that says some dumb shit like, buy Pepe coin, invest now, closing in 15 minutes. I think to myself, because I'm a rational person, okay, that's stupid. Who would ever fall for this? But a lot of people do.
Some people
I'm not the
yeah.
target audience for that. That's they specifically target the people who are too stupid to not fall for that.
Well, it's FOMO, you know. There's a lot of people who are just generally anxious about life itself, and we can tie that back to the original thing that we're talking about with Zoomers. Is there's a lot of people who are anxious about life itself, and they don't really know what to do with themselves. And if some fucking huckster comes in, it's like, feeling scared. Buy slop buckets and what fucking buy. And you could see this with other shit on like the fucking Alex Jones podcast or whatever. It's like, buy silver and gold. That's the only way because of dollars.
Get brain force plus. It'll make your dick bigger.
Yeah, it'll make your dick big, and then buy fucking water.
The liberal 5G towers are suppressing your natural sex drive.
Pretty soon there's gonna be no water. So buy this 1 gallon tub of water for $30. And
I'm an American patriot. I like to eat red meat and have sex with the girls at my church.
Hell yeah, non-consensually, because I'm a fucking man. And that's
in the back of my I show 'em my sinister 6 inches.
Sinister 6 inches, hellfire. Got a hammy in there. Got a fucking hammy, baby.
Oh, I don't know where else to take this. I feel like we've got a good riff in on all these different groups.
Yeah, there's not really like not much of a takeaway.
This episode was the real KFC value bucket of topics.
Hell yeah, yeah. It's not that deep. I mean, like, probably anybody listening to this is just kind of
what
where
the fuck do you mean not that deep? There's 5 gallons in that bucket.
Yeah, well, if you stack 5-gallon buckets, then that's fucking 25 gallons. And
if you turn the bucket over, you can use it as a toilet. And you can take a shit in my bucket.
Yeah, you stack 5 of those deep into the ground.
I'm Jim Bucket. Buy my shit.
That's a geothermal energy source, and then you're gonna fucking fight climate change at the same time. Buy my bucket.
Okay, I know we're mostly done, but it just popped back into my memory when we were going over like Red and Link's taste test of these videos, and they were talking about baking this pizza. Who the fuck is gonna have like a working oven in the apocalypse?
That was the other thing. There was a few of those that was like simmer for 20 minutes under low, and it's like, do you have enough fuel to just like be simmering something for 20 minutes every time you go to eat? Like,
it doesn't fucking matter, dude. These people have no imagination. They can't actually picture like a meaningful change to their like comfortable suburban McMansion in Florida lifestyle.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you really want to prep, and to be clear, like it is a good idea to have like supplies on hand. Not because like fucking the liberals are gonna send the fucking EMP bomb to make you woke and gay. Although if they did, that would be cool. But
no, it's not gonna be a bomb. We're doing it slowly over time.
Oh, right,
through
right.
podcasts.
Yeah. Don't talk about that's. We're gonna have to edit that out. That's a violation.
We'll cut that out.
That's a violation of the contract that Soros sent us. Anyways, like, but yeah, I mean, like, especially if you live in a place with, you know, hurricanes and tornadoes and all that type of shit, like, it's good to have like canned food and water and, you know, fuel and stuff like that. But
it was barely like 6 months ago when my house was nearly consumed by a fucking forest fire up here in the mountains.
Yeah,
so.
Well, that's God punishing Canadians for
See, the real irony behind that is that my house was like built in the 90s, right? And it's all insured and stuff. So if I actually did lose my house in some like devastating house fire, it would just get rebuilt and suddenly be worth more money. So there's a lot of insurance is a fucked up industry, okay? Just it's one of the devil's businesses. I don't like to think about it. The world is kind of sick and weird, and there's not enough buckets of slop to get us through the day.
Yeah, I mean, what can we do besides? I'm looking for a slop bucket, but I want a goddamn delicious one, because if the rapture comes, I'll let the ghouls take me. I don't give a shit. Fuck it.
Yeah, I'll take the slop bucket as long as they come in extra crispy. I feel like every time I go to a KFC, it can be really hit or miss, you know. It's either pretty good or like the most like trashy like ghetto shit you've ever gotten. And I've found that my litmus test is if the KFC serves extra crispy, it's probably one of the better ones. But that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm off grid, like 99% of the solar energy that I'm harvesting is going to the air fryer, so I can have some extra crispy nuggies.
Oh, and then you can be really smug to all the other like survivors of the apocalypse. Like, I bet you don't have an air fryer.
Yeah, they're
However the
eating
fucking thing goes.
cheesy potato soup out of slop buckets and just like choking on it, and I'm just eating the crispiest dino nuggies out of my air fryer. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Before we wrap up, I guess I do want to say one last thing. If you find yourself often like ideating, or like, is that even a word, or like fantasizing about like the apocalypse, the end times, and how shit's gonna be, I'd say don't. Just like, if you need any better sign that like things will probably kind of work out, it's that like, just look at all the people trying to sell you stupid bullshit to prepare for the end of the world, and think to yourself, is this really real? Is there something real here that I need to like consider and put thought towards too? And the answer is no. Don't fall for this slop. One of the big things we said here is like, okay, these people have like a total lack of imagination. They can't actually picture what like a meaningful change to their comfortable lifestyles is going to be. And maybe if I can get like a little deep here for a moment, one of the thing about the word apocalypse is that I think it's like an ancient Greek thing, right? Mm-hmm. We come to associate with like, okay, this is the end of the world, the end of all things or whatever. But that's not actually what it means. An apocalypse is more just like a period of great change, right? And you know what? Maybe we're going to go through something of an apocalypse for real. Maybe all this shit is going to come crashing down, and something is going to be like big and different. And like, we just kind of have to accept that. That doesn't necessarily mean like society's going to collapse or whatever, but maybe life is just going to look totally different in a way that we can't imagine now. And I think just be fucking careful, be suspicious of people who tell you that they have a very good idea of how things will be and how you need to give them money to prepare for it, because it's all bullshit.
Yeah, for sure. And I think there's a very good chance, this is anti-doomer, that change will be good. A lot of times, like with great peril, pushes us to the edge of the ring, and then we have to like make big changes to get out of that. And like, that's kind of like, if we survived, and this is just modern times examples, if we got through the Gilded Age, with all of the fucking ridiculous and disgusting grifting going on there. That's not really grifting. There's just horrible people. But World War I, World War II, the Cold War, all of this shit where everybody's hiding under desks because it's the end of days. And yeah, a lot of people did die and suffer and shit like that. But like, the world is still not Mad Max. So if that didn't happen, then I don't really see it in our lifetimes, at least.
Well, I don't think we're ever going to hit Mad Max, because the trucks in those movies actually fucking work.
Yeah, we need
That's some real off-road shit, okay?
Yeah, we need to reform the auto industry to get them ready for Mad Max. And that's a thing, too. If they knew that was coming, they'd be offering better selections. But they know it's not. So they're still making vehicles that are to drive your kids to Walmart to pick up some fucking Roblox gift cards.
Man, we didn't even get into that. I've seen TikTok videos of like stressed out suburban moms showing off their like war truck, like it's bulletproof and it's got all these security functions, and it's like, okay, you're dropping your kids off at the fucking pool to go to their like sports meeting or whatever. Yeah. You don't need this shit.
That is what true crime podcasts do to your mind.
We could do a whole bunch of episodes on that. We need to unpack that type of person, the fucking suburban apocalypse mom.
Oh yeah, something. Yeah, for sure. Or just fucking people with true crime brain in general, because that's a whole other thing that we could.
That would be fun. Maybe we'll even do that sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
No promises though.
Yeah.
For now, I think that's all we got for today, folks. This was a jam-packed episode. This was really dense. I really feel like this is like a 25,000 calories per bite type of episode from us.
Yeah, this is one of the better slop buckets you can eat out of, because it's full of nutritious. It's got riboflavin. It's got a little bit of vitamin barbecue. It's got a few things in it that you need, and it'll last 25 years. And when we're all long dead after the EMP goes off and we're eaten by Democrats, that this podcast will still exist because I'm burying it in a time capsule.
I'm still gonna be doing this in 25 years from now. Yeah. I keep forgetting to promote us at the end. So if you liked the show today, remember to tell your friends. Don't review us on iTunes and other stuff. We're gonna do a lot of that all at once. Just hold off on the reviews for now, and maybe drop us a sinister subscription down below or on whatever app you use to listen to podcasts. I think that's all we got.
Yeah, I think so as well. This was a tight 5. I mean a tight 5. A tight 110.
Well, it was a tight. I've already made like 6 Sinister 6 jokes for today. All right, that's all we got. Good night, folks.
All right, good fight, good night.